Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to look at how to do unit conversions, including the time. So let's do it one by one. So these are our learning objectives. So basically, we convert the unit of the length, of area, of capacity, which means volume, the units of weight, and also unit of time. Okay, one by one. First, we have this American units for the length. So certainly there are more than this, right? It's just a sample of it. So this 1 foot equal to 12 inches. We call this conversion factors. So 1 foot, 12 inches, 1 yard, 3 feet, and so on. They are called conversion factors. Yeah, conversion factors. And you can see we write these conversion factors into fraction format, 1 foot, 12 inches. 12 inches equals 1 foot. But which one do you use? Depend on which one you need when you do unit conversions. And this can be seen very clearly which one is the right one to use when we have a specific examples. So in general, how do we do unit conversions? Basically, we are going to use this method called dimensional analysis, which is just multiply the given unit by one of these unit conversion fractions. The goal is to cancel the given unit and also bring in the desired unit. It's very intuitive, actually. So let's look at a couple of examples. First, we want to convert miles to feet. It doesn't matter what number we have in terms of how to set it up. Because if this is a 4.5, we're going to do the same thing, just with 4.5 instead of 3.5. Now, here is the structure of dimensional analysis method. First, you just write down the given quantity. So this is in miles. Now, whatever this is, don't do anything. You just multiply it by a conversion factor, by a fraction. In this fraction, make sure you have the same unit with the given one on the bottom so that they can be canceled. Now, on the other side of the bar, you bring in the unit that you want to have. We call it desired unit. So we want to have a feet, right? Yeah, that's all we need. Now, I have not put in any numbers in these places. The reason is that I want to emphasize the importance of the structure, not the numbers. How many foot, how many feet in a mile is never going to change. It's always there. So it's not something that is we need to worry about. So look at this structure without numbers. This mile going to get canceled. The only unit left in the end after you do the calculation is feet. That's what we want. So structure has to be right. Now it's time to put these numbers in the right place. Since we have mile on the bottom, foot on the top, look at this. 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. So if you read the previous page, we have 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. In other words, this 5,280 has to go with feet. 1 will go with mile. So mile has 1 in front of it, feet has 5,280 in front of it. Now we just need to multiply them together. In the fraction, the number on the top is called numerator. It is also called multiplier. We multiply by multiplier to make sense, right? So we're going to multiply these two together. We don't need to divide by 1 because dividing by 1 won't make any difference. So this is 3.5 times 5,280. 18,480. So that's our final answer, 18,480 feet. Yep, that's all it is. Now, second one, we want to convert the yards to feet. Now, this mixed number. So first of all, as usual, using this dimensional analysis method, I just copy the first quantity without doing anything, then multiply it by a fraction. In this fraction, we want to cancel yards. That's why we have another yard on the bottom. This is on the top because you can always put one on the bottom. And then the other side, we want to have feet. Now we need something to relate yard to feet. Everyone knows that already 1 yard equals 3 feet, right? 1 yard, 3 feet. Now we need to multiply these two together and divide by 1. 1 is on the bottom, the number on the bottom in the fraction is the denominator, right? But denominator is also called divisor. That's why we divide by this number, but it happens to be 1. We don't need to do anything about it. We just multiply these two. So yard canceled. We convert this mixed number to improper fraction when we do multiplication with fractions. Multiply, add to 2. So it's 24, add to 26 over 3. Then times 3. So happen to be the same, these two numbers canceled. So 26 feet. Yeah, that's how it is. Now the third one, we want to convert from inch to feet. So we do exactly the same thing. I hope after this example, you can see it's all the same, basically. As long as you know the setup, as long as you know the relation between the two units, you're good. So we need to multiply a fraction where we need to cancel inch and to get feet. 1 foot, 12 inches. Just write the fact, 1 foot, 12 inches. Now this time, inch canceled, 12 is on the bottom. Denominator is also called divisor. So we're going to use the 78 times 1, which is still 78, then divide by 12. So let's do that. 78 divided by 12. They get 6.5. 6.5, don't forget the unit, 6.5 feet. Okay. Now, example 2, still we need to use dimensional analysis method. And from yard to inch, so we start with yards. First of all, if you know how many inches in the yard, you can do this in one step. It really depends on what you know, what you don't know. Now, to solve this problem, pretending I don't know how many inches in the yard, but I know how many feet in the yard. I also know how many inches in the foot. So in other words, I can go from yard to feet, then from feet to inches. As long as you can make connections in between, you eventually get the correct answer, the final answer. So now let's look at the setup without numbers. First, since I want to convert from yard to foot, I need to cancel yard, I need to bring in the foot. Now imagine, just look at this structure. After this, yard canceled, you got foot left, but we want to have inch. So we still need to do another conversion from foot to inch. For every conversion, you'll need another conversion factor, another fraction. So in this case, since this is a foot on the top, I need to cancel it. I need another one on the bottom. The counterpart on the other side of this bar is inch because we want to have inch. Now look at that. After these two conversion factors, we only have inch left. That's what we want. That's the right structure. Now put in numbers. 1 yard, 3 feet, 1 foot, 12 inches. Multiply everything on the top because everything on the top are multipliers. Divided by anything on the bottom. They both are 1, we don't need to divide them. So basically, we just multiply these three numbers together, 10, 3, 12. $360 inches. And we finish that. Now the next one, we convert 4,400 yards to miles. So Start with given number, don't do anything to it. Then multiply by a conversion factor. We do have a conversion factor between miles and foot. No, I take it back. We have a conversion between miles and foot, but we don't have a conversion between miles and yard. If you try to Google it, sure, I'm sure you're going to find it, but that number is not a popular one, so usually people don't know it. But we do know how many feet in a yard, right? So we can go from yard to feet, and then from feet to miles. So let's do it that way. I cancel yard to get foot. Next step, after cancel yard, I also need to cancel foot. So another foot on the bottom, miles on the top. Now plug in numbers, 1 yard, 3 feet, 1 mile, 5,280 feet. Now apparently these two cancel, we only have miles left. That's what we want, right? Now multiply everything on the top, divided by everything on the bottom. So on the top, basically we have 4,400 times 3. On the bottom, we have 1 times 5,280. It is still 5,280. So let's do this calculation. 4,400 times 3 divided by 5,280. We get 2.5 miles. Don't forget the unit. So 4,400 yards equals 2.5 miles. Now, next, we're going to look at how to do conversion with units of area. Whenever you have area unit, you got square foot, square yard, square miles. When we talk about how big a country is, right? Square miles. Now, let me show you this. This is how you get all of those conversion factors for the unit of area. Now, we know 1 foot equals 12 inches, right? That's for the length. But how about the area? 1 square foot equals how many square inches? How do we get that number? Now, if you look at this is the 1 square foot, this whole thing, because it's 1 foot long, 1 foot long. And the length, both length and width can be divided into 12 equal parts. Each part is 1 inch. So this is 1 inch, this is 1 inch. Literally, this one small square is 1 square inches. So how many of this in this 1 square foot? So you have 12 inches, 12 of this square inch in each row. You have 12 rows. 12 times 12, 144. So this is going to be 144 square inches. It's not 12 anymore. But without this graph, how do you do that? It's very easy. So pretending we don't have this, and you already know 1 foot equals 12 inches. How do you come up with this? Very easy. Just have another one. Multiply them together. This is length, this is width. So 1 times 1 is 1. Foot times foot is foot square. 12 times 12 is 144. Inch times inch is inch square. So you get area units relations. Just multiply by itself. Because square itself means multiply by itself. Makes sense? 2 square, 2 times 2. 3 square, 3 times 3. So you just multiply this length unit conversion by itself. So now let's look at the next example. So we want to convert from 8 square feet to square inches. 8 square feet. Now we do exact the same thing using the dimensional analysis method, but this time we want to cancel square feet, not feet, square feet. This is the 1 unit. Now we want to get square inches. Canceled, right? We already we just mentioned on the previous page that 1 square foot equals 144 square inches, right? So all we need is multiply these two numbers. 144 times 8, 1152. So 1152 square inches. Next one, we want to convert from 150 square feet to square yards. No difference. So now let's establish the relation between square yard and square feet. We all know 1 yard equals 3 feet. In order to get square feet, you have to square it to make sense, right? Square both sides. Square means multiply by itself. 1 times 1 is 1, yard times yard, yard square. 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4, foot square. So 1 square yard equals 9 square feet. So we get 150 square feet. Now multiply by the conversion factor where we want to cancel square feet. We want to get square yards. Now 1 square yard equals 9 square feet. Apparently we need to divide by 9 because 9 is on the bottom. So 150, I think we're going to get a decimal, divided by 9. Well, 16.66 forever. So 16.67, let's just round it to 2 decimal digits. When you do homework, just look at the requirement for the rounding part. Now, we have an application problem now, a story problem. Let's look at this example 4. A room that is 25.5 feet long by 18 feet wide is to be carpeted. Calculate the area of the room in square yards. So first, apparently a room is a rectangle. If you look at the floor, right, length and width, we are talking about the area. Our area of rectangle. Imagine this is a 25.5 feet long, and this is 18 feet wide. This is your the floor of the room. Now we want to have this area in square yards, not in square feet. Now at this point, you have 2 options. Either you convert both lengths here into yards first, and then multiply them together. Or we calculate the area of this rectangle by multiply length and width first. We get the area, but that area is in square feet. Then we convert from square feet to square yards. In theory, each one is okay. Each one is good because they're all logical, right? But there's something I need to mention here. If you choose to convert from feet to yard first, which will involve division, you could get some decimal numbers with many decimal digits, depending on what number you have. In that case, you have to do rounding. In other words, before you even multiply them together, you already have error in it. So after consider that, I'm going to take the second approach. In other words, I'm going to calculate this area in square feet. Since I don't do any conversion at the beginning, I don't have any error. Then in the end, after I have the answer, I round it. That way, I only do rounding at the very end, I can control the error. So area equals length times width, 25.5 times 18. Both are in feet, so the result is in square feet. 25.5 times 18. We get 459 even square feet. Now we just need to convert the square feet to square yard. 459 square feet. That's why we learn unit conversion first before we do this application problems. So cancel square feet, get square yards. We already know 1 square yard equals 9 square feet. Look at here, right? So we don't need to multiply by 1. So 459 divided by 9 is going to be a whole number, like 51. So 459, I still have this on screen. So divided by 9, 51. So this is 51 square yards. That's our answer. Next one, we look at conversion using units for capacity. Capacity is just another way to say volume. So capacity is a measure of the amount a container holds. So that's a volume. Now, this is some popular ones. 1 cup equals 8 ounces, 1 pint equals 2 cups, and so on. But I need to mention this. Ounces is unit for the weight. It's not for the capacity. But why we have it here? Because 1 cup, if you measure water, is going to weigh 8 ounces. So make sure this is not true for everything, for anything, only for specific material, maybe water, most likely. Apparently 1 cup of metal is not going to have same weight as 1 cup of water, right? That's just common sense. Okay, let's look at our first example using dimensional analysis again. We want to convert 5 pints to ounces. So 5 pints. Now, using the same structure, we want to cancel pints. We want to get ounces, right? From previous page, we know here is the thing. Pint is not directly connected to ounces. We can go from pint to cup, from cup to ounces. A cup is our bridge. So for that reason, it's going to be a cup. After this, imagine pint cancel, you only have a cup left. Now we can cancel cup to get ounces. So that's our strategy. Now plug in numbers, 1 pint, 2 cups, 1 cup, 8 ounces. So apparently we don't need to divide by this once. We just multiply these three together. We don't need a calculator. 5 times 2 is 10, 10 times 8, 80. So 80 ounces. Next one. We want to convert from 24 ounces to gallons, to 240 ounces to gallons. So let's look at this conversion factors to see what is our path, right? We need a gallon from ounce to gallon. Where's the gallon? Gallon is here. So we can go from ounce to, well, we cannot go to pen directly. Ounce to cup, cup to pence, pence to quart, quart to gallon. We don't have the direct connection, so we didn't go through this process. So first I cancel ounce to get a cup, then cancel cup to get a pint, then I cancel pint to get a quart. See, this was related. Cancel pint to get a quart, and then finally I cancel quart to get a gallon because these two are directly connected between quart and the gallons. So now plug in numbers. Make sure I plug in the right numbers. Well, let's display them here. So 1 cup, 8 ounces, and 1 pint, 2 cups, and 1 quart, 2 pints, and 1 gallon, 4 quarts. Now all of these units get canceled. Eventually, we only have a gallon left. Now multiply everything on the top. Well, they happen to be 1, all of them. So I guess we just get 240 on the top. On the bottom, we have 8 times 2 times 2 times 4. So 240 divided by, this is another 8, 64, 128. But let's just use calculator to double check. 8 times 2 times 2 times 4. 128. So finally, we need to use 240 divided by 128. 1.875 gallons. Don't do automatic rounding. You only do rounding according to the requirement. So I just leave it. Now this time we're looking at conversions using the units of weight. So say I mentioned that before, the ounces is weight unit actually. Now 1 ton equals 200 pounds. Now I mentioned this again, this more than likely is American unit. this American unit, right? Because metric ton equals 2,200 pounds, not 2,000 pounds. So now let's do the first example. We start with ounces. We want to have a pound. Same setup, dimensional analysis method. We put ounces on the bottom since we want to cancel that. And we put a pound on the top. 1 pound, 16 ounces. Apparently, we just divide this 12 by 16 to get a pound. Oh, 12 divided by 16, 0.75 pounds. Now, next one, convert pound to ounces. So we don't have direct connection. And we can go from ton to pound and from pound to ounces. So pound is our bridge, middleman. So 0.2 ton, which is T. And then cancel that to get pounds. Then we can cancel pounds to get ounces. Now plug in numbers, 1 ton, 2,000 pounds, 1 pound, 16 ounces. Since we only have ones on the bottom, we don't need to worry about them. Just multiply the three numbers together. So 0.2 times 2,000 times 16. 6,400 ounces. So that's it, we solve it. Now let's look at time conversions. So nothing different, only difference is conversion factors. We still use the same dimensional analysis method. And this is the last page actually. First, we want to convert from hours to seconds. So 4.5 hours. So if you know 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds, you can do it in one step. Otherwise, just convert from hours to minutes and from minutes to seconds. You're going to get the same result. So if I convert from hour to minute first, then this canceled. We convert from minute to seconds. So 1 hour, 60 minutes, 1 minute, 60 seconds. So if you multiply 60 by itself, it's 3,600. So I guess most people already know that 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. That's why I said you can do it directly. So basically, we convert the first one. You can convert to decimal. You don't have to use a fraction as long as the decimal is not rounded. Because if you have to round this number, and that rounding error multiplied by 3,600, that error is also enlarged by 3,600 times. But this one is good. We only have one decimal digit times 60 times 60. 16,200 seconds. Apparently 16,100 sounds big number, right? But it's not that long. It's only 4.5 hours. Now let's convert from minutes to days. 15 minutes. We can go from minute to hours, then to days. So we cancel minute to get hours. Then we cancel hours to get days. So 1 hour, 60 minutes, 1 day, 24 hours. So apparently both numbers on the bottom, when you divide both numbers, so 15 minutes is 60 times 24. You can multiply this out first, or you can do this whole thing directly using calculator. Just make sure you use a parentheses when you use calculator. So 15 divided by parentheses 60 times 24. From the order of operations, the calculator will do this multiplication first to get a single number. Then they use 15 divided by that number. Pretty small, right? 0.010417. in days. Again, I'm going to leave it. The rounding is really depend on the requirement. Now the last example here, also convert time, but the time is embedded in speed. 90 feet per second to feet per second per minute. So this is per second, this is per minute. Otherwise, the length still have the same unit. So we just need to convert from second to minute, in other words. Now, how do we write this? We have two units involved in this quantity, right? Feet per second. Write it like a fraction, as a fraction. Per second means per 1 second. That's this part. Now, we want to convert this to per minute, right? We still need feet. That means we don't need to cancel feet, but we need to cancel second. So remember, we want to cancel it. These two have to be on the different sides of fraction. Since the second, the one we want to cancel is on the bottom, we need another one on the top. The counterpart is on the other side of this bar. That is a minute. So imagine second cancelled, what do we get? Minute on the bottom, per minute, feet per minute. Makes sense, right? 1 minute, 60 seconds. So all we need is multiply 60 and 90. That's a 5,400 feet per minute. Yeah, 90 feet per second. That's pretty fast. Now the last one, we want to convert from mile per hour to feet per second. Just like a typical speed when we drive a car, right? 60 miles per hour. Let's see how many feet per second equivalent. So again, I'm going to write it 60 miles per hour. Now, this time we need feet and second. That means we need to convert both length and time. How do we do that? It doesn't matter. You can do either one first. First, I'm going to convert miles to feet. So I need to cancel mile to get feet. So this canceled, you only get feet left. That's what we want, right? Next, we need to cancel hour to get second. At this point, you can do it in one step if you know 1 hour equal to 3,600 seconds, or you can do it in 2 steps from hour to minute, from minute to second. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to do it 2 steps. Hour cancel it is on, to put this on top because it's on the bottom. Convert to minute. Then we cancel minute to get second. Now after it's set up, you see all of this unit canceled. The one we don't want to cancel. Only thing left is feet per second. Now plug in numbers. 1 mile, 50 to 80 feet. 1 hour, 60 minutes. 1 minute, 60 seconds. So first of all, this two cancel, 60, 60, that's good news. Then we have a 50 to 80 on the top because it's all one. Then we have just a 60 on the bottom in terms of numbers. So we just need to do a division. 50 to 80 divided by 60. Whole number, 88. Still fast, 88 feet per second. It's still very fast. And that's all for this video. And see you in the next one.